Greetings, and welcome to ChetFlux News. It is with much resentment that I must thank CrossFlux for allowing me to come back onto his channel. It seems that while I was away, he's gotten himself into some sort of tournament for a children's card game. Can't say I'm impressed. Regardless, this so-called Sparkman Yugitube Tourney seems to be filled with other amazing duelists and generous sponsors. Allow me to thank Orica Shop, Top Sleeves TCG, Aster's World, and Game Day Toys and Games. I hope I pronounced those correctly, as I have no idea what I'm talking about. I simply have a script given to me by CrossFlux himself. Also, a big thanks to Sparkman for organizing all of this. Round 1 of the tournament has taken place, and CrossFlux's first opponent was the legendary RPK Gaming. With an opponent of this caliber, there's no way CrossFlux could actually win, so this should be a quick duel analysis. I've been informed that RPK had released a poll, allowing his viewers to vote on what deck he should bring to this first round, ultimately deciding on the devastating Cyber Dragons. Against such a technological powerhouse, let's see what CrossFlux decides to bring. In a game full of magic, monsters, dragons, and legendary warriors, you mean to tell me that CrossFlux brought a bunch of waifus made out of cake? My disappointment is immeasurable. Game 1 begins with RPK winning the RPS, and opting to go first. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to have much to do, as he simply passes his turn. CrossFlux is now up 1 card, yet still has no access to any of his combo cards. This forces him to open with a Pot of Prosperity. Thankfully, not getting ashed, CrossFlux draws into an Angeli and shotguns her effect, going into a Hootcake. Not seeing a line of play that could end him on a decent board, also lacking the ability to OTK since Prosperity was played, CrossFlux opts into playing conservatively, ending simply on a Sistart and a ton of back row. Hoping for no Feather Duster, CrossFlux sees the Lightning Storm come down. Well, basically the same thing. Thankfully, he has a negation in the form of Madolche Promenade. This forces a Hootcake back into hand, making Sistart more vulnerable, but also triggering both his Ticket and Salon. He picks up some cards that will make his follow-up play more devastating. RPK continues his turn by using a Pot of Prosperity of his own. This play seems desperate, so CrossFlux decides to use Designator to stop that spell in its tracks. Despite his hopes, CrossFlux finds that RPK still has a play to make. He specials out a Cyber Dragon, an oldie but a goodie. He then gets around Sistart by assimilating her into his Mega Fleet. A Rev system comes down, reviving the initial Sidra, and RPK gets in for a decent chunk of damage. He then ends his turn by sacking his 2 monsters into CrossFlux's favorite card, Anaconda, which means that he's now staring down a Dragoon. This definitely puts a damper on his next turn, but CrossFlux may have a line of play here. He just needs to bait out that Dragoon negate. Using a bunch of Madolche effects, RPK doesn't seem to take the bait. It's risky, but CrossFlux's only play is to go into his Queen. After activating her effect, she is negated by the Dragoon, but down comes the Triple Tactics talent. Opting to take control of the now powered up Dragoon, CrossFlux is free to swing for game. Dang, Game 1 actually goes to the inferior duelist. Well, I'm sure this was just a fluke. Let's see how RPK turns this around in Game 2. Opting to go first again, RPK is once again greeted with a not-so-stellar hand. Despite not having much, CrossFlux doesn't have any interruptions, so RPK is free to end on Dragoon once more. Setting a summon limit means CrossFlux is going to have a hard time breaking through this Dragoon, since Madolches can't get to any of their good cards before their second summon. But who needs a Madolche answer to Dragoon when you can just drop a big turtle instead? This does count as one of his precious summons, so CrossFlux's only follow-up play is a Magilin. This does get ashed though, leaving him very little resources. Clearing the Anaconda, just to make sure another Dragoon or a DPE doesn't come down, CrossFlux then passes his turn. RPK's luck doesn't kick in, so his only move is to clear the Magilin with his Kaiju. Unfortunately, this does play into CrossFlux's strategy. Magilin shuffles herself into the deck, triggering his ticket. It's now CrossFlux's turn, and with a set Promenade, he has the ability to pop off. Starting with Petting Cessor, he gets an Angeli on board, an important choice, as she's a fairy-typed Madolche. So now, when ticket triggers, he gets to summon the target instead. Overlaying into his Queen, he says Toodaloo to RPK's board. He then searches for a Salon off of his Messengelato summon, granting him an additional summon. This gives him just enough firepower to end the game right then and there. Wow, color me surprised. CrossFlux actually won the match. Regardless, RPK played as good of a game as was possible with the hands he was dealt. Great game, duelist, and I'm sure CrossFlux looks forward to dueling you again in the future. Until next time, this has been ChetFlux with CFN. Remember to have a blessed day.